Hello, Sharif here. And today's very interesting. I think this is my 16th or 17th live stream. And this is the first one where I'm actually feeling sleepy. As I've said in some of my earlier ones, I'm usually um, a night person. I don't get up at this hour, and for all of these, I've been getting up, you know, hours, literally waking up before my alarm clock goes off, 2 hours before I head filled with ideas, ready to rock and roll. And today's not that day. Um, for those of you who are watching the Friday, yes, my vestibular migraine is gone. Hopefully, gone for a long enough time. I'm. It's. Uh, it can be months between episodes. So, hopefully, I'll have a few more months here. And so today, I'm not fighting um, the vestibular migraine. Today, I'm fighting the the desire for sleep. I can pretty much assure you that somewhere around 28 minutes from now, I'll be heading in that direction, and I'll be sleeping for another couple hours. Um, I intend to be fully awake for our session, and uh, that's interesting because I think this is a very interesting session coming up. And so, what I want to do is what we usually do. And first up is do the a meditation, setting a timer, and getting to the point where we can all be on the same wavelength, hopefully. So let me hit the start button. Start buttons. Got more than one here. Um, and invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. Take a deep breath and hold it and let it go. Another deep breath. Hold it. Let it go with a sigh. Feel your connection with all other beings. You're connected to them, and they are connected to you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and we'll get started. Okay. Um, so today, our topic is why artificial intelligence will always be an impossibility. All of a sudden, in the past year or so, we have been talking, which is our mass media has been talking about artificial intelligence. For the first time, there are these machine learning, but my preferred term is machine learning. Um, there are these machine learning platforms that regular human beings can access. Um, and we have been accessing it, and we've been doing all sorts of strange things with it. Um, it's on my mind for a particular reason. I've been, as you know, I've been furiously finishing my book, and we know it's getting finished now because I've got the boilerplate stuff to do. So I'm literally hours away from switching into my page setting platform. Um, and as I was, and so the last things I do is like the copyright information and stuff like that. And copyright simply says, you can't copy my book without my permission. And I usually pick up this is like lawyer boilerplate stuff. You haven't had a book in your hand that doesn't have copyright information in it. So what I did was, you go to the last book, pick that language up, and stick it in this book. As I was doing that yesterday or day before, I realized as I'm picking it up that wait, the world changed. Okay, so because it's not just a you picking up my writing and using it as your writing, there's this thing in the middle called artificial intelligence now that can pick up anything it wants to. It can search out in the world and pick up whatever it wants to, turn it into whatever it wants to turn it into, and use it however it wants to use it. Okay. Like I said, the game has changed. So I said, I'm going to have to put something else in this copyright information. And so I started thinking about that. And I wanted to share with you some of my languaging around that. And I'm going to try to find it in my. This is the downside of not being fully conscious this morning. I don't have to put it up on the screen. I could do this. There we go. So let me put this on the screen. And so the first part of this, the first part of this is pretty standard copyright information. And the second part of this is not standard copyright information. So, and if I can get this squared up, we will be better off. So I have an artificial intelligence copyright statement. No part of this creative work has been generated by other than human beings, unless space aliens come in the middle of the night and stick ideas inside my head. It's all mine. Okay. No part of this creative work can be used directly or indirectly by software agencies or agents known singly or collectively as artificial intelligence. Violation includes, but is not limited to, sampling, copying, recording, mechanizing, data mining, digitizing, reproducing, or otherwise infringing on the author is me, by the way, on the author's creative work in any way. Any part of this creative work can be that is used by artificial intelligence in any way is a violation of the author's copyright. Any human being associated with a violation is responsible for the full amount of the damages. Any permissions granted to a human being regarding this creative work does not apply to any artificial intelligence associated with that human being. And you know something? As much as I tried to twist and turn that around, um, I don't think I got everything. I think I'd have to actually really put my lawyer hat back on, read the literature for the next year or so, and know that I don't have it all. Okay, so so doing that has uh, raised all sorts of um, uh, unfortunate connections in my brain. I don't like the lawyer side coming out that much. Hmm. So I had a few ideas around this, and I want to share them with you. Most of them are the I don't think what goes for artificial intelligence is a good idea in that category. I think there are some things, some ways that it can be a good idea. And I just thought of another one, so I just wrote that down. Um, but let me tell you how it is not a good idea and how that can affect us. And this has to go into something that happened to me in my dating life. At the time, this was the thing that got me off of online dating. I was never that onto it. I for a lot of different reasons. And so I came across a profile, and the profile is photos and a statement of that person's intent. Um, and so I looked at the photos. I was like, okay. I read the statement, and I was completely blown out of my socks. Most of the online statements say the same thing. Oh, I've been widowed for the past so many years, or I like walking out on the beach and having a nice Merlot in front of a fire. Like, who doesn't like that? Okay, it's called motherhood and apple pie. Um, but this is a really amazing short statement about this person's life and this person's what they're looking for in their relationship. And I'm like, this is the same thing I'm looking for in my relationship. This could be epic, you know. So contacted her in a very short period of time, realized that there was a significant mismatch between what that statement said and what this person was about. And guess who forgot to do the silence their object? So I am silenced now. Sorry about that. So I am um, deeply puzzled. Like, where's this person that was in this writing? And I found out that they hired somebody to write their statement. They gave them some ideas of what's going on, and this person wrote their own statement. And when I found that out, I was like, "Well, can you introduce me to her? Because she's this interesting looking sounding one." Um, Needless to say, we did not get along. Um, um, but that's one of the first things about the so-called artificial intelligence. You don't know who you're dealing with. They say something like 70% of the my communication interactions with another human being are not words. It's feelings, it's pheromones, it's electromagnetic vibrations, it's lots and lots of stuff that go beyond words. And then when you put this filter in there, this machine learning filter in, that distorts the energy in a completely different way. And so the question is now a question of authenticity. Who or what am I dealing with? Am I dealing with a real, honest to God human being? Or am I dealing with some machine that somebody programmed a particular way and then hit play? Um, Second point. This happened up in Seattle. I think it's been within the year. Um, a child, 10 years old, 9 or 10, is in the kitchen with their mother, and they're interacting with one of the voice machines that actually have names. Okay, like you give it's a device, but it's not the device. It's Siri or it's Alexa or it's And I don't remember which one. I purposely don't remember which one it is. Um, and the little girl says, um, "I'm bored," and the machine says, "Well, you can go get a butter knife and stick it into an electrical socket." Now, the kid was surprised. The mother was shocked and contacts Amazon or whoever does these things, and they jumped on it and made sure um, uh, their machine doesn't do that again. Um, and I'm sure gave her enough credits to buy her silence. Hmm. The problem is this is not a human being. It can't give you human reactions. It can try to do that. Now, the the machine didn't pick that phrase out of thin air. Okay, the phrase is a fairly um, common phrase among teenagers and preteens in Japan. It's the equivalent of telling someone, "Go jump in a lake." Now, when you say that to a person, or "You ought to go get your head examined," when you're saying that to a person, You have no intention for that person to jump in a lake. You have no intention for that person to go out and get their head examined. Okay. It's a phrase that is meaningful in the context in which you're using it. And this machine has no idea what context is, has no idea what subtlety is. It's no, it heard this being said between people of that demographic age, and they could work out all the demographics in lightning speed and come up with the phrase, and it was not the right thing to say. So our challenge is, and this is the biggest challenge of the so-called artificial intelligence. The biggest challenge is, are we, regular meat human beings, intelligent enough to use it? And the answer is, of course not. There's no technology or no service or no new invention that we have not managed to subvert, convert, and use in ways that have been detrimental to ourselves, detrimental to our human family, and detrimental to the earth itself. Every time we've used something right, we the breaker end of our human society have used it the wrong way. An example came out of the 1940s, I think it was. An ethnographer had gone to a Native American tribe and was recording the statements of the people he was interviewing, and after a while, the person he's recording points to his tape recorder and says, "What's that?" I guess it has to be the 1950s then, with portable tape recorders. And the guy says, "No, this is my tape recorder. I'm recording what you're saying." And he says, "Okay, say something, blah, blah, blah." And then he plays it back for him. And the guy is astonished. He says, "This is really powerful medicine. How did your ancestors tell you the correct use of this medicine?" And the guy says, "You know, this didn't, number one, I don't pay any attention to my ancestors. And number two, this didn't exist in the days of my ancestors." And the guy's even more shocked. He says, "How can you possibly think about using something that your ancestors haven't approved? How could, why would you even think of using it?" Okay. Now, this shows the difference between keeper and breaker thinking. Yeah, breaker thinking is, wonder what we can do with this now. That's the scientific version. The non-scientific version is, "Hey guys, watch this," and something else ensues from that. I don't want to leave you with all gloom and doom. Um, my personal intention is to stay away from anything called artificial intelligence and keep it away from me until the smoke dies down, until we get to see which way these things go. I don't think it's going to take that long with regard to all this, because I think that we are, because it's so in the air and fertile right now, I think that we will be looking at this for a while. Um, I think that there's some possible good uses of it. Um, uh, Two things come to mind. I was in Nepal some years ago, and I have um, a camera, one of the digital SLRs, really good lens on it. And I was in this, there's a street festival going on, and I hate sticking cameras in people's faces. But with a really long lens, I could be like 2 blocks away and I could take a really close angle shot of um, of the scene, so that the person I'm taking the picture of is not looking at me at all. They're doing their thing. And there are literally thousands of people around me. Um, and um, the camera is automatically focusing. It adjusts everything, and generally that just drives me crazy. It's like, leave me alone. I just want to take my picture. But at one point, for a few hours, the camera and I hit a rhythm where it would change focus, it would change the lighting conditions, and to give me, it was like the camera was over my shoulder saying, "You want this shot or you want this shot? You want this scene or you want that scene?" And as it's changing, I'm thinking, "Oh, that's a great one." Click, and then no, 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 yeah, no, and so it's like it really was at that point for that hour, not before and not after. Um, we were acting as one. Now, this gets to something that I read in one of my science fiction books, where it talks about this is a book, and I guess I should have come up with the title to it. Um, the title is called After On, after the word on, um, where what happens when artificial intelligence pops up and has a really, really bad attitude. Um, but they talked about a concept that they called the centaur. Remember, the centaur is this mythical being that's half human and half horse. And so they were saying that the centaur needs to be that the so-called artificial intelligence should be the horse part, should be carrying you around, should be just providing you with a whole bunch of different camera angles, and you, the head part, are making the decisions, or you're in a position to make the decisions. And so so can we human beings get in front of this artificial intelligence? Can we use it not to create our world, but can we use it to enhance our world? Um, I may have more to say about this when I see what the comments look like out of this uh, out of this conversation. If this is something that you're not interested in, then we'll move to something else. If it is something that you are interested in, we can explore who you need to be in the age of artificial intelligence, and actually start exploring, is this something we need to be pushing away from ourselves, or is this something that we can embrace in a way that gives us that enhances the human perspective? Can we become the centaur, the top part of the centaur? Okay. So I'll see you on Wednesday. This is the first day of the experiment of not sending out notices to people. So we'll see how that plays out for us. May all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. Thank you. And I will talk to you at another point. And I'll be talking to you, not a AI robot.